I think that camera angle works. Probably not. And the nights, we are out of salsa. So I figured, since so many of you enjoyed the video where I did the chili cheese dip, let's do salsa. My not so world famous recipe that's not even mine. There are a few things that you're gonna need. I want to go to the grocery store and come back to this video. Next clip. Before we get started, you'll want to make sure that you have a certain set of ingredients. They're kind of similar to a certain set of skills. This set of ingredients, you'll need 4 heads of garlic, 3 full onions, 2 lemons, 2 28-ounce cans of diced tomatoes, the hot sauce of your choice, salt and pepper, Old El Paso taco seasoning, and just a little pinch of extra virgin olive oil for those times when you need to be extra virginal. Usually how I start is I roll the lemons. This is said to make them a little bit more juicy. I don't know how the science works out on that, but let me know in the comment section down below if you know anything about rolling lemons. My next step is always to go ahead and slice my onions. Just slice them up the best you can. Now, I'll be using a food processor, so I don't have to be too particular about how fine I get them. I like mine very fine, so I can just throw it in the food processor after I make sure that there are no giant chunks. Follow that up by doing roughly the same thing with the garlic. Now with the garlic, if you've never worked with whole pieces of garlic before, you do have to sort of press them a little bit so you can get the skin off, and then you can go ahead and start chopping. Once we're done with all of that, we can take this, Hunt's diced tomatoes, and we can put those through the food processor as well. I'm not a big fan of really thick chunks in my salsa, so we've put it somewhere about a medium consistency. Now we're going to saute our garlic and our onions. So you want to put about a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil and a little bit more. Oh, maybe a little bit more. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on a low heat. We're going to go ahead and add our garlic. It's had a little bit of time to heat up. So you want to make sure that absolutely nothing burns. You want to keep things sort of in motion. And now we're adding our onions. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right. And when you've got your onions and your garlic sauteed to your chosen level of softness as well as yummy smellingness. Is that a thing? I think that's a thing. Then you know that it's time. We're going to move on to the next step. Next, we're going to add the tomatoes, which we've got in this side bowl. Oh, 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 oh. There we go. Next, we're going to add a tablespoon of Old El Paso taco seasoning. Now, I've seen recently that one of my fellow expats has actually worked up an almost exact copy of Old El Paso taco seasoning, which I'll try to link that video down below if you want to make your own or if you can't find it in a store. Next, you're going to want to add your chosen hot sauce to taste. I'm going to be adding in about 1 of these spoonfuls to the entire mixture. I'm going to taste it. Then I'm going to, add a little bit more and get it flavored to my particular tastes. Maybe it needs a little bit more kick. So now we've turned on the heat and we're gonna wait for it to boil. A couple of reasons. We want to make sure that the flavors get well integrated into everything so you've got one consistent flavor all throughout. Also, I kind of like my onions to be kind of soft. So once that starts boiling, which is just about now, it's getting right about to a boil. We're gonna mix that up, make sure nothing sticks. We are going to shut that off. Now that we don't have to worry about it sticking to the bottom, we can start with our lemons. So essentially we're going to squeeze the lemon and we're going to get everything out of it that we can. And then we just repeat that lemon for lemon, every single one, to make sure we get the proper level of yumminess. So sort of off camera what I've done, because I didn't realize I was going a little bit overboard with the spice, I did add just a tad bit of sugar, and that helped sort of not negate some of the spice, but definitely takes the palate off of it. All right, so now the temptation is to eat it right now, but we can't do that. We have to jar it, and the main reason is that once we jar it, everything, it just tastes better after it's been sitting in a jar for 24 to 48 hours. So what we've just made is 3, maybe a little bit more than 3 jars. Now these aren't anything fancy, they're not like ball jars or mason jars. These are just things I picked up from the local hardware store slash homeware store. I wish I had a funnel. I'm going to get one soon, but for now, this spoon is roughly the size of the mouth of the jar, so without causing much of a mess, I can simply spoon it right in. And the thing is, you don't want to put this into the refrigerator as is. If you are going to be cool storing, you want to leave about this much freeze space so that it forms a vacuum as it cools, because we don't have the resources at the moment to do proper canning. Let that sit there, put the lid on it, and let it come to room temperature before I put it into the fridge. I don't want the glass to break, and that's what we're trying to avoid. If you make it change temperature too quickly, the glass could break. And there we go. We've ended up with 3.5 jars of salsa, and this was fairly cheap to make, a lot cheaper than buying salsa from the store. If you have anything that you make at home that maybe other people don't, let me know in the comment section down below, and we'll talk about that. Maybe I'll do some more of these videos because it seems you guys are liking them. Anyway, till next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all those things that make me love my job. Also, be awesome to yourself and amazing to each other. Bye.